Hello everyone, my name is Katie, also known as Insider PhD, and welcome to the No Name Academy. These are some short videos on the new OWASP API Security Top 10. The new API Security Top 10 will be familiar if you've already seen previous versions, but there are some changes, some interesting additions and mergers. You don't need to watch these videos in any particular order. Feel free to skip around to the new vulnerabilities or just what interests you and what you need at the moment. So this is API5 Broken Function Level Authorization, and this is another of the broken access control. Again, there are 3 different types of access control, and they cover these 3 different levels. So we saw this in API1, API3, and now in API5. It's another returning vulnerability. If you're already familiar with earlier versions, you will probably already be aware of this one. But this is about that broken access control at the permission level. So doing an admin thing as a regular user or breaking a user-defined permission hierarchy. This could be vertically or horizontally, so going up a level or being able to pivot to a new organization in a multi-tenancy application. So let's imagine we have our 3 users. We have our red user, our green user, and now we have our purple user. So red creates a post ID 45, and they should be able to delete that post, edit that post, read it, and then also create a new post. Now for green, our secondary user, they also have that read permission. They can read it, but they can't do anything else. Now purple, our admin user, should be able to do all of those actions. Maybe it's through a specific admin API, but they should be able to read, create, update, delete. They may even have some additional functionality like being able to shadow ban. But green should still only be able to read. Green isn't an admin, so even if they do access that secret admin API, then we should expect them to be rejected. If our access control is broken, however, despite the fact that green is not an administrator, they may be able to do some administrator actions. And this is what makes it different from bowlers or broken object level authorization. In a bowler, we're using the same endpoint as a regular user would. In broken function level authorization, we're using a different endpoint that an administrator would. And from the outside, it can be very difficult to tell these apart. We may not necessarily know exactly which one it is, but it comes from that same core, that missing access control. Fundamentally, what we're able to do is do with a regular user, do an administrative action. Every authorization issue, it really does depend on the API. Simply, it's to be able to do an admin function as a regular user. Broadly, this is to be able to do any function without having the required horizontal or vertical privileges. In tenancy applications, if you're administrator of one tenant, one organization, you shouldn't have administrator access to other organizations unless you're a member and have been granted that access. Again, it's a type of that broken access control. So why is this an API issue? APIs, again, they have a really large attack surface. We start to introduce complex permission hierarchies, particularly in tenancy applications where we might even have a user-defined hierarchy. This is where that access control element can become very tricky. Particularly if we have that separate admin or moderation functionality, and it becomes very clear what is an admin action and what isn't. So how do you resolve this? So do check a user has the required permission level before letting them change something. Basic access control. Consider access management early in the development lifecycle. What is that access control going to look like? Is it going to have discretionary elements? Is it going to have a permission hierarchy? Reduce the complexity of permission systems if appropriate to the application. It may not be required to have an admin, a super moderator, a moderator, all with separate permission levels if only one can start permission may be advice. Don't implement authorization in the middleware. This is a really easy way to make it very difficult to fix some of these issues, as middleware is not necessarily designed to make authorization. Ignore any automated testing and test cases. It's a great way to avoid getting any kind of useful information. It's just ignore it in the first place. And don't ignore calls for that comprehensive application security program we've mentioned previously. It's really important to have an application security program that is supportive. So it empowers developers to produce secure code, and it supports the development lifecycle as the product is developed. If you're worried about these types of attacks, NoName can help. Its runtime protection can detect and block API attacks with their real-time traffic analysis. So thank you very much. That was API5 broken function level authorization.